Echoes of emptiness. The Blackwood Manor wasn't known for its warmth. It was a sprawling Victorian monstrosity, its skeletal frame clawing at the ever-graying sky. The wind howled through broken windows, carrying whispers of forgotten secrets. Dust motes danced in the faint light, casting eerie shadows on the crumbling walls. But lately, even for Blackwood, things were different. The usual repertoire of groans, rattling chains, and spectral whispers had become muted. A hollow silence had settled in the dusty halls, thick and oppressive. Inside the cobweb-draped library, a portrait of a stern-faced woman, Agnes Blackwood, watched with a frown. Her spectral form flickered faintly. Theodore, as she hissed, her voice like dry leaves rustling in the wind. Where are the theatrics? The cat wailing? Where's the good old-fashioned haunting? A disembodied chuckle echoed from the corner as a wispy figure, Theodore Blackwood, materialized in a puff of spectral dust. Agnes, my dear, he drawled, his voice a chilling rasp. Haven't you noticed? The games are afoot, but we're not the players anymore. Agnes's spectral brow furrowed. What do you mean? The chills, the creeping dread, Theodore explained, his form shimmering. It's gonna. This house, Agnes, it feels hollow. A cold dread, a feeling they hadn't felt in centuries, snaked through Agnes. They were the ghosts, the resident spooks, but what if, just maybe, something even worse had moved in? That night, a bone-deep chill seeped into the house, unlike anything they'd ever felt. It wasn't the playful malice of a poltergeist nor the hungry desperation of a restless spirit. It was a cold, calculating emptiness. Objects moved on their own, doors slammed shut with a chilling finality, yet no spectral form could be seen. Theodore, Agnes whispered, her spectral form flickering like a dying candle. I don't like this. This isn't right. They huddled together, a pathetic sight. Two ghosts afraid of the dark. The house, once their playground of terror, had become their prison. Then a voice, cold and devoid of warmth, echoed through the halls. This structure, it rasped, lacks the necessary despair. Agnes and Theodore exchanged a horrified look. This new presence wasn't here to scare. It was here to consume, to drain the very essence of fear from the house, leaving it a hollow shell. With a desperate cry, Agnes and Theodore combined their spectral energies, a pitiful defense against the encroaching darkness. They were ghosts, yes, but they were also protectors of Blackwood Manor, and even in the face of an unknown terror, they wouldn't let their home, their very existence, be devoured. As the new presence grew stronger, the house itself seemed to react. The walls shivered and groaned, the wooden beams creaking under an unseen weight. Shadows, darker than the night, oozed from the corners, pooling like ink on the floor. An icy wind whipped through the halls, carrying with it a sense of dread so palpable it seemed to solidify in the air. The battle raged through the night, the house groaning, its timbers straining under the unseen weight. Agnes and Theodore fought valiantly, their combined terror a meager shield against the overwhelming emptiness. The specters of Blackwood Manor, once proud and terrifying, now found themselves on the defensive. They hurled their best haunts, wailing banshees, clanking chains, spectral apparitions, but the darkness absorbed it all, growing stronger, more defined. Agnes conjured the image of a dozen ghostly figures, their faces twisted in eternal torment, while Theodore caused the floorboards to splinter and crack, creating the illusion of a bottomless pit. But the entity was unimpressed. It moved with a relentless, mechanical precision, snuffing out their ghostly lights one by one. Desperate, Agnes and Theodore summoned all the energy they could muster. The chandeliers swung wildly, their crystals casting frantic, jagged reflections on the walls. Books flew from shelves, their pages fluttering like the wings of trapped birds. The air grew thick with an otherworldly fog, cold and clammy, obscuring vision and dulling sound. But slowly, ever so slowly, their spectral forms flickered, their ethereal voices grew fainter. The entity's presence was a black hole, draining not just their energy but their very essence. It wasn't just killing them, it was erasing them. As dawn broke, casting pale light on the dusty halls, the silence returned, hollow, absolute. Agnes and Theodore were gone. Blackwood Manor remained unnaturally still. The creature, its purpose fulfilled, had moved on, leaving behind a hollow shell. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. Tourists, drawn by rumors of a sudden quietude in the notoriously haunted house, dared to venture inside. But they found nothing: no spectral figures, no chilling whispers, no objects flying inexplicably. Just an empty, echoing space. A young couple, Sarah and Michael, bought Blackwood Manor, drawn by its morbid charm. They spent months renovating, determined to create a home amidst the decay. As they worked, an unsettling feeling grew within them, an absence, a hollowness that gnawed at the edges of their minds. As Sarah sat alone by the fireplace, book forgotten in her lap, she felt a cold touch on her shoulder. A faint, almost inaudible whisper reached her ears. "Help us," it grasped. She whirled around, but there was nothing there. Sarah dismissed it as fatigue, yet the emptiness intensified. Michael too felt it, a chilling weight settling on their dreams. Their once bright plans for Blackwood Manor began to sour. The house, devoid of its resident ghosts, had become a breeding ground for a different kind of horror, a suffocating, all-encompassing despair. Sarah began spending more time staring out the window, her eyes vacant. Michael recognized the look, the same one that haunted his own dreams. Blackwood Manor, once haunted by the ghosts of its past, had become haunted by a new kind of terror: the emptiness it had so desperately fought to repel. The house, in its silence, had won. It had consumed not just Agnes and Theodore, but the very essence of life within its walls. Blackwood Manor stood as a monument to a chilling truth: sometimes the absence of fear is the most terrifying thing of all.